you born and bred in the Gong?
Yeah, so I was born in Wollongong Hospital with my twin, and then born and raised in the area, whole life.
And I guess the reason I ask is like things like surfing was never your thing, or
Oh,
I just know that a lot
yeah,
of guys that come from the Gong, like are more into to that kind of aspect of life.
yeah,
I know, my best mate who obviously grew up in Sydney, he even moved down to the Gong, and he's like, mate, I live 200 meters away from the beach. I love it, and I'm just saying, like someone that comes from the Gong, like that's never sort of like caught your imagination to maybe take up the sport of surfing.
Actually, when I was around 17, I started bodyboarding and I got super into it like during my last sort of 2 years of high school and that too badly where I ended up sort of skipping classes to go and do it. And I just bodyboard all day and then go to jiu-jitsu. But I tried surfing when I was younger, I never got into it. But when I was a younger kid, I was super introverted. Like I didn't lack social skills, but I didn't like sort of going outside of my bubble. I was more like, I just want to go train where I can. Then I was the sort of kid who like, I'd stay at home and I'd play like League of Legends for like 4 or 5 hours a day. So I never really had that sort of outgoing personality where I do now, where I'd sort of like to challenge myself to new sort of situations. Things I was more happy just to, okay, I'll train, I'll come home, then I'll play video games for 3 or 4 hours, go to bed, rinse and repeat. But eventually, when I started getting sort of more out of my shell with like socializing and that's when I started bodyboarding and I really got into it. But now, honestly, man, like I love it, but it's just hard. Like in camp, it's just not worth the risk. Like all it takes is one bad wave to dump you, especially if you're on like sharp reef or something, you can get cut can get infected, even just energy level wise. Like like realistically, if there's a good day of surf, I would love to go out and sort of jump on my bodyboard and go for some waves and stuff. But I look at it, I'm like, man, I still got two more training sessions to do. Like I'm probably better off just relaxing. So that's sort of one thing I do actually start to enjoy when I'm out of camp. Like right now, we're in lockdown, so it's like perfect times. I have been out on the board a few times just around the local breaks. But in camp now, I don't honestly, I just don't do it purely because I'm just so dialed in on like if this gonna determine my performance at training this afternoon. If it is, I won't even bother with the sort of thing.